Salutations to the body to recognize divinity. Salutations to the breath and the mind in assisting to recognize divinity. Notice your breath. Notice your mind. Yo tasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaidhyakena योपाकरोतं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि आबाहुपुरुषाकारं शङ्खचक्र असिधारिणं सहस्रशिरसं श्वेतं प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिम् Harihi Om. Let us breathe in, and as we breathe out, we bow down to that divinity by recognizing goodness within ourselves and in all. Place your hands down, humbly raise your head up, and we open our eyes. All right. Oops. There's something with my throat today, and I'm figuring out what it is. So I'm going to every now and then. So it's not a part of the class. When I do something is here. So pick up your your blankets, fold the blanket. It's a breath awareness class today. So fold the blanket, place it at the center of your mat. We are going to start from the quadruped position. So let's take it on to the first routine. You can watch me. I see some new people in the class. Maybe you can watch me or you can join me. The first routine is the knees are going to be on the blanket. The knees are underneath the hips. Palms are underneath the shoulders. What we call as the quadruped position. From there. The neutral spine. Stay here for some time so you can notice the way you're breathing in this position. And then from here, gently moving the hips back and forward, back and forward, very gently. Loading the legs and unloading, loading the hands and unloading. One more attempt by moving forward and back. And now let's move in circular direction. Doesn't matter which direction you're moving towards, but in a circular direction, in the same direction. So we're not going in the opposite direction as it. Notice you may be more fluent on one side than the other. That's how the body is. Maybe this morning you can sense more fluidity, maybe more in the hips and less in the hands. Now let's move in the opposite direction. The opposite of the direction that you were moving towards. One more attempt. And we come back to wherever the center is, in between the hands and the legs. From here, let's tuck your toes. Then raise the knees up slightly. Notice or bring the weight into your hands slightly. A little load into the hands. From there, push your hands away from the legs and raise your hips up. Try to keep the heels floating, disconnected, so that you can move your hips freely. The heels are not connected to the floor. And if you need to step your legs back to take a slightly wider stance, so that your shoulders can open up a little bit more, feel free to step back. Maybe when you step back, you can sense the opening in your chest. And then let's come back, bring the shoulders over the wrist, bring the knees down, point your toes back and walk your hands back, sitting sort of in Vajrasana. Now, if this position is a deep flexion of the knees, is not favorable to you, sit cross-legged, or you can sit even on a chair. From here, let's go into a little bit of a flexion and extension of the spine by using the hands. Let's raise your arms up in Urdhva Hasta. And from there, breathe in, raising your shoulders up. And as you breathe out, take your arms forward, the shoulder flexion, and then an extension. Take the arms back. Breathe in, raise your arms up. And as you breathe out, bring your hands down. So the movement of your arm is coupled with your spinal movement. So we inhale as your arm goes up. We extend the spine by slightly taking the head back and the shoulders back and even your sitting bones back. So it's like a little back extension. And breathe out. Take your hands down and you round your back. Continue this expression in your own pace. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. Continue with us. One more attempt. And we come back to a neutral position where your head is above the shoulder, shoulder above the hips, fairly keeping the spine erect, perpendicular to the floor. Breathe out. All right? from here, let's walk the hands forward, coming back into the quadruped position. And let's bring that cat and cow position, something related to what we did previously. So from a neutral spine, breathe out first, empty your lungs, breathe in, raise the sitting bones up, and extend your spine. And as you breathe out into a flexion, breathe in, gentle extension. Try not to push your body too far. In the morning, the body may not have range of movement, so go slow. Try closing your eyes now. And when you close your eyes, notice where your mind is. What are your concerns when you close your eyes? It could be anything. One more attempt, class. And we come back to neutral position. And when you arrive at the neutral position, feel how your lower back feels now. And then walk your hands back, coming back into Vajrasana or Swastikasana or Sukhasana, cross-leg seated position. Let's do a little bit of rotation, frontal, sagittal plane rotation. So let's bring both the hands in front, sort of fairly closing the front of the lungs and spreading open the back of the lungs. So we're going to place both the arms in front in line with your shoulders. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, make the right arm longer than the left arm. And come back as you breathe in. And breathe out. Make your left arm longer than the right. And come back. As you breathe out, right arm longer. So you're kind of reaching out to the front. Breathe in and breathe out. Coming back. Continue. Making one hand longer than the other. And try to do this with your eyes closed. Your palms are touching. And then you brush. One hand becomes longer. To notice how much of frontal rotation we have coming from the arms. Yes. Okay. Relax your arms. Okay? Relax your arms, class. Now watch me, class. Notice, I came here to look at you. Watch me. Some of you, we go back. So the way I do it is, the left hand remains straight and the right hand goes beyond the left hand. Can you see? My right hand is longer than the left hand. Versus some of you are doing this. Do you see that? You're bringing the hands in, but you're taking your left hand in, but I'm taking my right hand out. That brings a rotation, a forward rotation. Make sense? Yeah. Some of you are still doing that. You're bringing your hands in rather than reaching out. Imagine you have to take something that is going to fall. Yeah, let's try that again. Keep your hands in line with the shoulders. Again, continue. Breathe out, reach the right hand forward. And as you breathe in, come back. And as you breathe out, reach the left hand forward. Good. Continue. One more attempt. Maybe with your eyes closed this time so you can sense your breath a little bit more stronger. Good. Once you have completed that one cycle, walk your hands forward. Come back to downward facing dog. And try not to give any ideas to your downward facing dog. Just appear in downward facing dog and let your body take care of you. Let your body take over, and the body knows what to do in downward facing dog, at least for today. Stay there for a while and notice the way you're breathing. One more breath. And from there, slowly walk your hands back towards your head. Gently shifting the weight, one hand to the other. Releasing the back of the head down. Connect the pubis towards the navel. Keep your head down. We're going to come up gently by unrolling the spine flexion. Keep the pubis lifted up towards the navel, and little by little. The head down, arms and shoulders down. Eyes are closed as you come up. Gently open your eyes. From here, let's go into a lateral extension, a lateral flexion. Sorry. Take your arms out to the sides. Stand with your legs about hip width distance. Bring your right arm down. Raise your left arm. This is my left, and this is my right. So it also will be the opposite. From here, press the left heel down and raise the left hand. Now, once, bend the left knee. Of course, when you bend the left knee, you bend the right also. And then straight lift the left hand up. Once again, bend the left knee gently. And from that bending, lift. Breathe into the left side of the lung. And as you breathe out now, side bend. Turn your head to look down. And breathe into the left side of your lungs, keeping some amount of side bend to the right. From here, stretch the left hand up and bring the left arm down. As you bring the left arm down, raise the right arm. Lift the right arm up towards the ceiling. Let the left arm relax. The right arm is charged. Now bend the right knee and straighten. Bend the right knee and lift. Once again, bend and lift. Bend and lift. Breathe into the right side of your lungs. As you breathe out, side bend. You can turn your head to look down. Inhale and exhale out of the right lung. It's not something that really happens. You can't only inhale and exhale to the right lung, but it's something that is sensational, a perception. Breathe so that the awareness is more on the right lung with your breath. One more breath. In the next inhalation, raise your right hand up and bring the right hand down. As you bring the right hand down, raise both your hands in the same level. From here, let's go into a protraction and a retraction. So I'm going to show you from the side. I'm going to cross my arms in front. Shoulders are protracting. They're moving away from each other. What I mean is scapula. And then I take my arms out and back. Retraction of the scapula. Breathe out. Cross the arms in front. And as you breathe in, separate the arms and take the arms behind. Try to keep your hands in the same level with your shoulder, your palms. Our concern is in the range of movement. Gently. Both the hands. Dua-dua tangan. Sekali. Yes. Range of movement. And change the cross of the arms. At one point, if you have the right arm in front of the left, in the next attempt, you can have the left in front of the right. Good. And relax the arms. Now let's couple the movement of the arm with the spine. What would that mean? Couple the movement of the arm with the spine. So, watch this. When your arms are in line with the shoulders, cross the arms in front, you flex the spine, bend the knees. Like you do in Gandasana, right? So, flex. Breathe in. You open the chest like you do in back bends. You can notice my arms dropping slightly, so lift the arms. And breathe out, change the cross of the arms. So now the movement of the arm and the spine comes together. So called coupling of the movement. Okay? Try not to rush. Take your time, feel your body. How does your body feel today? We tend to, how are you the whole world? How are you to yourself? How does my leg feel? How does my knee feel? Be concerned about yourself. And we do that with you gently. So there's a little bending of the knees. Bend, flex. I may not match your rhythm, but just for visual sake, I'm doing it along. Breathe in, spinal extension. Breathe out, spinal flexion. Breathe in. Gently. Bend your knees when you are flexing your spine and straighten the knees when you are extending. One more attempt. Relax your arms with your eyes closed. Feel how your shoulders are feeling, your spine. How is your body feeling now? Open your eyes, class. Now let's bring the previous movement. Let me just move this slightly higher. Seems like my. Let's bring the previous movement, which is the movement of the lateral flexion, couple it along with the extension and the flexion. Notice I'm going to go. Watch first class and flex the spine. Extend. Side bend. And side bend. So we're coupling the side bend with the flexion and extension. And because I went to the right side previously, then I go to the left. Okay? So flexion, extension, lateral flexion. Flexion, extension, lateral extension. But today, because it's a breath exploration, let's start. Breathe out. Raise your arms. Breathe in. Breathe out. Flex your spine. Extend. Open. And side bend to the right. Come back. Breathe in. Side bend to the left. Come back. Breathe in, breathe out. Flexion. If you remember which arm was crossing earlier, you can change the cross. Knees are bent. And extend. And to your left this time. Side bend to the left. Come back. Side bend to the right. And come back. Got that routine, class? Now continue. Flexion by yourself. When you flex, you bend your knees. When you extend your spine, you fairly straighten the knees. Yes, that's it. Continue. And continue along with your breath. And if you sense any kind of fatigue, tiredness, try not to push yourself too far, because this is not really about how far. We're not looking for big range and movement. We're looking for involvement with your breath. Gently, slowly. We're not trying to reach anywhere in particular. One more cycle. Once you've completed that cycle, or if you've completed the cycle, keep your eyes closed and notice. Feel if there's any difference in the way you treat your body or the way you connect to your body. All right. Now open your eyes. We're going to go to Malasana and fairly do this movement in Malasana. But I know some of us can't sit in Malasana. If you can't, what is Malasana? The hunching position where you are. I would like you to keep your legs slightly wider than the hips and then sit. This position may be challenging. So therefore, for some of us with a deep knee flexion, so you can sit on a chair and do the same thing. Okay, the idea is to keep the hips flexed, to keep the hip flexion. So if you can sit in Malasana, sit in Malasana. And then turn your toes out slightly. If you cannot sit in Malasana, the option is to sit on a chair, a short stool, anything, or sit on two blocks. You have two blocks stacked one on top of the other. Improvise and find out in what position I can move in, isn't it? It's like you're sitting in the toilet, right? In Eastern toilet, and then sometimes we are trying to move in the toilet, right? So something like that. Fairly. So let's look at how much of movement we have here with flexion and extension. So let's start with the lateral movement first. Raise the left hand up. Breathe in. Side bend to the right. And inhale, come back. And exhale. Side bend to the opposite side. You can even turn your head to look down. Breathe in and breathe out. So you feel more connected to your body when you look down than looking away from the body. From side to side. Notice how you're shifting the weight of the body to one leg, turning to the other. And maybe even a deeper stretch because there is a hip flexion now. One more attempt. Good. And from there, walk your hands forward. Lift yourself up into Uttanasana. Let's straighten the knees for a while. Keep the head down. Notice how your ankle feels. Notice how your knees are feeling. and your lower back. Good. Now class, let's turn the toes out to the sides slightly and then we flex the knees and come back to Malasana. I'm going to turn slightly to the side so you can visually have a clearer idea, right? So from here, notice how the spine is already rounded. So we're already in a flexion. So let's take the hands, watch me first. Take the hands in line with your shoulders, breathe out. As you breathe in, lift the arms and extend as much as you can the arms back. And inhale. You may not have so much of extension as much as you are here, right? Because of the hip flexion, you may not have. So therefore, it is more of a shoulder flexion here. Continue. Breathe out. Breathe in. Maybe closing your eyes so you can get more involved with your breath. We're not looking for visual information. And when you flex, try to move your sitting bones further down. And when you raise your arms, try to move your sitting bones back slightly. You will not get much movement in the hips, but we try to see if there's any movement. One more attempt with your eyes closed. And once you have completed, place your hands in front and raise your hips up into Uttanasana and internally rotate your legs. Now, relax your arms, let your head hang, let your shoulders hang. Notice now how your ankle feels. How does your knees feel to be free from that flexion? How does your knee feel to be free from flexion? How does your hip feel? Your hip is still fairly in flexion though. Release the head down, keep your head down, breathe into the back of your body. Good. One more attempt. Turn the legs out, class. External rotation slightly. And then we bend the knees and come down into Malasana. One more exploration in Malasana. Again, I remind, if you feel that the third attempt of sitting in Malasana or coming into Malasana is challenging, sit on a chair, please. All right? The options are to place the hands on the floor, or you can place the hands even in front or take your hands out to the sides, whichever that gives you a sense of balance in the directions that we are going to move in. So we can keep the hands by the side just for movement's sake. And we're going to internally rotate the right leg. This is my right leg. Yours will be on the opposite side. So internally rotate and externally rotate. Internally rotate and externally rotate. This is as if you're bringing the right knee towards the left toes, coming back, the left knee towards the right toes, and coming back. Continue. Try to stay more on your legs and less on your hands. And for those of you who have a sense of balance in your direction, you can take your arms out, reach your hands out, breathe and come back to the center. And breathe out. Let your spine sink into the hips when you sort of move to the side. That's the sound of the wind you hear. It's a very strong wind this morning. Maybe even closing your eyes. This time, class, when you move to the right, stay there. Stay in the right. And when you're on the right, let the hips sink. Let the hips sit. Look down. Reach your hands out. And breathe into the back of your body. Now shift the weight into the right leg. Externally rotate the left leg. Open your arms. Internally rotate the right leg, shifting the weight into the sitting bones. Now we're on the left side. Let your head relax. Breathe into the back of the body. Direct your breath into the back of your lungs. Shift the weight into the left leg. Open your arms and come back to the center. Place your hands fairly in front of your heels. Shift the weight into your hands and straighten the legs. Internally rotate the legs after the flexion and external rotation. Feel how the legs feel. Notice if there's a little bit more of a forward or a hip flexion. If you have come down a little bit more. It's a very passive way of stretching the body. And from there, slowly walk your hands back and your legs forward into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Your downward facing dog. And again, before you give downward facing dog ideas, can you learn from downward facing dog something? Can you let the body reveal you? Sort of imagine the body to be a guide. Let the guide. You may have a lot of information from Google, from Instagram, from Facebook, but let your body be your Google. Let your body be your mind. Let the body inform you. How does downward facing dog feel right now? And Balasana, the child's pose, bring the big toes together, knees is slightly wider than the hips. And be curious when you move into Balasana of how the Balasana is today. Let your elbows touch the floor and breathe into the back of your body. Good. And slowly walk your hands back and come up. Nice. Nice. Some of you are coming up with a flexion, and that's very nice how you come from the spine. Many times we come from the head. Nice to come from the spine, from the hips. Okay. Now, I call it something fun. We're going to do something fun. It may not be something fun for some of you, but just take it as it is. We're going to do Simhasana, the lion pose. Garjana Simhasana, that means to roar like the lion. So you're going to sort of stick your tongue out and then open your eyes wide. So we go through that. So let's just do the expression first. So opening of the throat, opening of the facial muscles. Okay. So I'm going to do it right in front of you so you can make fun of me, the way my face is going to look. So what we do is to sort of push your eyes forward, looking with the eyebrows lifted, and then sticking the tongue out. Can we do that? Come closer so I can see your face. Isn't it? And this is the right time to take a picture. I won't do that. Okay, so what you do is to, number one, stick your tongue out and then open your eyes and sort of breathe out. So let's breathe in. And as you breathe out, okay, one more attempt. Breathe in and breathe out. Nice. Now I'm going to tell you, of course, we know the tongue originates from the back of the palate, right? The lower jaw, the back of the lower palate. But what we're going to think is, imagine that your tongue is so long that it is originating from your spine. Imagine, it's the imagery. Imagine it's a nice imagery because your digestive system starts from your tongue, right? And then goes down through your food passage and into your stomach. And then you have the guts, right? So imagine that the tongue is from your guts, from your digestive tunnel coming all the way out. So when you imagine your tongue is long and it is rolling out. Okay? All right. One more attempt. Breathe in and breathe out. Question. Did your breath become longer when you imagine the tongue to come from the base of your spine? Ah, yes. So that's the idea, to make the exhalation longer and to throw whatever kind of toxins or whatever there is there in the morning in our throat or anything that we are holding here, open up. Now, that's clear. That's the second part. So when part one is the face, part two is the tongue coming out from the base, part three is the roaring. So I'm going to do it for you. We're only doing the face part. I'll show you the shoulder and the spine later. So you breathe in, and as you breathe out, so you're roaring like as if, sometimes my grandfather used to clear every morning. He would clear. So, they do that, right? I think some of us do it. So it's a good way of clearing your throat. You have a tongue cleaner, then this is your throat cleaner. Doing that. Sort of that's what we're doing. Okay. So to kind of clear the throat. Breathe out. Breathe in. Okay. So what we're doing is opening the eyes, sticking the tongue out, imagining the tongue to be very long from the guts. And the third thing is to clear the throat by roaring from the throat. Okay. Can I give you another idea? The fourth one is to flex and extend the spine. So therefore, I'm going to go slightly behind so you can see what I'm doing in Simhasana. I'm going to show you from this side. Let me show you this way so there's some light. So your hands, sure. The palms are placed on the knees and the fingers are fairly spread. But what I'm going to do is, watch me when I breathe out. I have my knees and coil my spine. And I breathe in, open my chest, and breathe out. Let's do this first. Breathe in, open the chest, and breathe out. Something we did previously, right? Now, couple the roaring of the lion here. So what happens is when you breathe out, breathe in, stay, and breathe out. And relax. Got that? So when you breathe in, you go into spinal extension, the chest opens, and you breathe out, opening. Your mouth, you spread your fingers, you imagine your tongue. Of course, there's so many things to do here. Opening the tongue, imagining the tongue from the base of the gut, and also roaring. So whatever that comes to your mind at that point, express that. Okay, you need not juggle with so many balls. So palms on the knees. Breathe out first, flex your spine, round your back. Breathe in, extend your spine and stay there. Don't look up too much, look forward. And now breathe out and roar. Open your tongue, stick your tongue out and roar as loud as you can. Okay, all right. Some of you are vomiting. You're doing... So it's not a vomit, it's not munta. It's funny, yeah? Good, laughing is good. We take sometimes yoga too serious. So it's not that way, so it's more of that, so sort of looking down rather than flexing and vomiting. So keep your spine in extension and open up and feel your tongue coming from the base of the spine. Okay, one more attempt. It is what it is. Breathe out, flex your spine. Breathe in, extend. Keep the spine extended and now open your eyes and breathe out. Relax and flex. Inhale. Extend your spine, open your eyes, and roar. Good. Continue. So one more attempt by yourself. Don't rush. Take your time. Maybe even with your eyes closed. Roar. Let the voice come out from the base. Good. Take a break. Go to downward dog. Good. And come down. We're going to attempt this a few times. Another way that I was teaching this is another expression that may help you is imagine you're trying to to hide and scare someone, to shock someone. You know, you're behind the door and you're going, you're trying to shock. So imagine that that person is behind you, that the awareness is from the back of the body coming to the front of the body, like as if the front of the body is sleeping and the back of the body is so awake, and then it goes into the front of the body. Can you experience that? Okay, but only that this time we're going to do Simhasana from a standing position. Okay, so let's come up into a standing position. So we're coming to a Tadasana with the legs as wide as the hips. I can already feel my throat a little bit more open. Huh? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hips back and then I'm going to bend my knees. So I have sort of this Utkatasana with my paws. I'm imagining that I'm a lion. I'm a lion, yeah. I'm there. So from there, watch me. I'm going to breathe out. Flex the spine. Sort of how you do Naui, the cleaning of the stomach. And then breathe in. Stay there. And as I breathe out, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe in. And breathe out. Okay? All right. So let me guide you in the first few attempts. And then you can do it in your own body-mind understanding. So come to a standing position. You are in Tadasana. Take your hips back and let your knees bend forward. Place both your palms on your knees, sort of holding the knees. And when you breathe out, flex your spine and round your back. Go into the back of your lungs. Imagine now you're going to surprise the front of the body. Inhale, extend the spine. Notice the breath in the front. And now as you breathe out, stick your tongue out and roar from the back of your body. Open your eyes and let your tongue roll out. And now breathe in first and breathe out. Flex your spine. From your sitting bones, inhale, extend your spine. Open up your chest. Now, surprising the front of the body, breathe out, roar. Let your tongue come out. And inhale first. Exhale and flex your spine. One more attempt in your own, by yourself. Good. And once you have completed, extend your knees, straighten your legs, stand in Tadasana with your eyes closed. And just feel the cavity of your neck, the cavity of your chest and your hips. How do you feel connected to yourself through your sound? Good. All right. Open your eyes. One more Simhasana. This is my favorite Simhasana. May not be your favorite, but take 2 blocks each if you have 2 blocks. Okay. Let me get 2 blocks first. And then, if you have 2 blocks, okay, if you don't have 2 blocks, that's fine. I'm going to show you how to do it even without the 2 blocks. So I'm going to turn it out to the sides. And then, we're going to go into downward facing dog. Okay, so the blocks are slightly, fairly as wide as your shoulders. From here, we breathe in. Lift the hips up. And we breathe out. We stay. Now breathe in, filling up the lungs, and as you breathe out, and go back. Stay. All right. Notice that. No, let's do it first before I give you other information. If you have two blocks, if you don't have two blocks, your hands can be on the floor. Good. Breathe in, raise your heels up, breathe out, go into upward facing dog first. You can keep your toes curled. Good. Your hands are on the block, pushing and lifting your chest up. Tan Kin Yong, upward facing dog. Now breathe in into the lung. As you breathe out, raw and stick your tongue out. Open your eyes. Good. And inhale, go back into downward facing dog. Stay here. Normal breathing. Good. One more attempt. Raise your heels up from the downward dog. As you breathe out, go into upward facing dog. It softens your spine a little bit. Look forward, Tan Kim Yong. Tengok depan, yeah. Now breathe in and fill up the front of the lungs. And as you breathe out, roar, and imagine your tongue is coming from the base of the spine, sticking out, and your eyes are broad open. And inhale. Go back to downward facing dog. Continue 2 more attempts by yourself. Gently. There's no rush of completion. It's not about completion. It's about experiencing your body from downward dog into upward dog in that expression of Simhasana. Good. Once you have completed the 2 cycles, come into Malasana with your hands on the block. Now breathe into the back of your lungs. Very soft, intimate breathing. And from there, lie on your back. In a supine position, lying on your back. If it's a foam block or a wooden block, place it on your diaphragm, slightly, yeah, on the diaphragm, not really on the navel, but slightly on the diaphragm. If the block is too heavy, you can place a blanket. And then place both your arms on either sides of your shoulders. Keep your knees bent for a while, just for 2 minutes. And now we're going to use the block to give us the response of the breath rising as you breathe in, and the block rising as you breathe in, and the block sinking as you breathe out. Continue noticing the the pattern or the behavioral, how the block is behaving. I'm saying behaving as if the block is an entity, but the block is energized by your breath. The block is giving you an idea of your breath pattern, rising and sinking. And sometimes we even change the way we breathe. When we change the way we breathe, then you can sense the block moving in a different way. And from here, slowly straighten one leg at a time. Just continue a few more attempts of noticing the block floating and sinking as you breathe. Now, maybe backing out and letting go of the breath and let the breath happen is anyways happening in its free will. Move your mind towards the back of your body, and from the back of the body, move further into the floor behind you. From the floor behind you, go deep into the earth, into the space underneath, further back. Just notice how your body is responding. Remain in Shavasana. Now begin to feel the floor behind you, the body above the floor. And feel free to stay in Shavasana if you want to stay. Moving your toes and fingers. Coming to maybe stretching your arms above the head. Stretching the legs away from the arms and the arms away from the legs. Bending your knees and rolling to the side. Resisting the floor and coming up. Let's conclude the practice this morning of Simhasana. Om. Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Thank you, class. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for joining, class. Yeah, keep well. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.